Hello guys, welcome to Index Trader channel. Today we are going to discuss about Nifty analysis for this week, June 15th. So last week we discussed that Nifty will try to test the level 10,300 and then it will slide, and accordingly the same has happened. And we also discussed that the range was around 10,300 to 10,000, and breaking 10,000 it can go down. So that is what we discussed in the last week. And also one important scenario we discussed, that last week closing and this week closing, we concluded that this week closing will be lower than the last week close. So that is exactly Nifty followed that thing. So we will discuss in detail how we concluded that, and what is the data that gave us the signal that Nifty will get reversed and test those levels. So this is a continuation video of last Sunday. So we will proceed with the analysis in detail. Let's go to the analysis. Watch till the end. So this is our first setup, that is EMA setup. In this we have discussed that Nifty 100 EMA is acting as a resistance, and after that it was acting as a support, and then it tested the level 10,300. After that continuously Nifty fell from that level to even there was a big gap down around 9,600 levels. So there was a huge fall from 10,300 to almost 9,600. So that was around level of 750 points. So that was a big fall as a whole. But Nifty got exactly reversed from the 10,300 level after filling the gap. That was also one thing we need to note down, that gap filled because of the gap up opening and because of and not because of any buying activity. So that we need to keep it, because during the candle that was on last week Friday, even last Friday, we saw that that time there was not a big buying activity, but there was short in the smart money was taking shorts in futures to hedge their positions. So they were buying on cash and shorting that in futures. And what they does is actually they close the futures and take the index to up, and then they keep on selling from that top. So it could not sustain. So that is what we need to look out. So now we need to see that Nifty getting support from EMA 20 and EMA 40, we can see that, and from that it tried to test again this EMA 100, but we will see that whether this will test again this one, or it will continue the downtrend, or it will move up or not. So we will discuss in the other data. First, according to this setup, we can see that the Nifty tried to rebound from the EMA 20 and 40 and try to test the EMA 100. So that is what looking at here. Now we will look at the weekly setup here. So weekly close, we need to see that last week we discussed that the closing of the last week will be higher than, that was last week closing was around 9972, but the EMA 20 is 9998, that is around 10,000, and previous week closing was 10,140 level. So the closing was, this week closing was below than the last week, previous week. And one more thing we need to note down, that it closed below the EMA 20, that is also signaling a bearish signal. And another very important point is this candle is a hammer pattern, and this is a bearish candle. This is a ultra bearish candle. You can see such similar kind of candles here, this one, and even this one here. Only this candle there was an up move, but after that even this one is also a somewhat similar kind of same hammer pattern. Now we need to see that this kind of candle have even formed at the Nifty top also. Even Nifty was moved at around 12,400. Similar kind of pattern was formed. And also very importantly, once Nifty closed below this EMA 20, there is a high probability that it will fall from the point. So we already see some kind of thing. Even here also we can see that once breaking this EMA 20, we can see a good amount of fall. So this setup is suggesting that weekly chart is showing somewhat bearish, and we will also check with a Bollinger Band. So here also we can see last week it was closing above this Bollinger Band. Now it is closed below the Bollinger Band and EMA 20. So that also confirms that it could not go above and touch this EMA 40, that is around 10,507. So that also signals a bearish setup in this weekly setup of EMA. So now we move on to the next setup, that is the Fibonacci level. So in this Fibonacci level we need to see very important thing, that is it could not sustain the 50% retracement. Nifty from 0% it tried to move above 50%, but could not sustain the 50% retracement. And Friday's closing was near about this level, that is 9972, and the same level it was closed. So it exactly at 50% retracement the Nifty was closed, and it could not sustain the above levels, that is in the around the 10,300 level. So it could not sustain that thing. So that also suggesting a downside move, that is moving towards the next level, that is 9,391.95. so that is the next level looking at this setup. But there was a big candle formed here. So whether this candle helped to move to this level or not, we will check with other data. But this data from the Fibonacci level, it's suggesting that this area, that is 9972, is acting as a strong resistance. Earlier it was acting as a support, now acting as a strong resistance for further up move. And also we need to see the weekly chart of this Fibonacci also, that also confirming the same thing. So once it try to go near to this level, that is go towards that level, but it could not that, and we saw that a big hammer type candle formed here. So that also confirms a bearish signal in this Fibonacci setup. So now we move on to the next setup, that is the price action. So in this price action we need to look very important thing. So it took support around this level which we already done, so that is 9,598, that is 9,600 level is acting as a strong support here. So that is the reason even after a fall it could not go below that, it is getting support near that zone and went up. So now an interesting thing we need to look out, that this trend line is acting as a support, and there is another one trend line that is acting as a strong resistance, we can see that. So all the price are closed inside this trend line. So this trend line will be acting as a strong resistance because it caused multiple points, that is touching 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 points this trend line is getting touched, so that is getting stronger the more the points get touched. And also we need to see that this 10,025 will be acting as a strong resistance going forward. So even there is a opening of around gap up or gap down or slightly up move, this point will be 10,025 will be acting as a strong resistance, and this trend line will be acting as a strong resistance. So closing basis, so next candle can be closed between inside this level. One need to watch out very for this level, that is 9,600 level will be a strong support for the uptrend. Breaking that will definitely lead to this next 8,800 level. So that we need to watch out for, because this trend line and this support, it's all coming closer. So 1 or 2 days we can retest this trend line. So that is what looking like. So once this testing happen, and breaking cannot be stopped. So that's what we need to look for. This is the trading area, trading zone. So the watch out for levels will be 9600 will be a strong support that we need to look for breaking this week. So now we will conclude that this setup is giving a bearish view, but we will also look at the volumes also here, because the volumes are bigger in terms of selling from the top. So see the volumes are very big, but the buy volumes are very lower. When there was an up move here, there was an up move happened around 10th of June. So on that day there was a buying, but both side move happened. That was not a volume supporter. That is the reason the next day it was falling. So now we can see that this volume is somewhat bigger than this volume, but we need to look for that also for an answer, who has sold and who has bought. So that is the very important thing. So we will look into that in the next setup. So we need to look for that whether who is driving the market. We need to look for that. See, on the Friday, for the past 3 days, FIIs have been net sellers. So previously they were buyers and taking the index up, but now they turned sellers. For the past 3 days they were continuously selling from the top, and we needed to look for even DIs were net sellers, but after that they turned buyers. So there was a huge amount of money they pumped in on 12th June. That is the reason the market went upside, and there was a huge short covering also happened. That is on in futures. So that is the reason market went up. But we need to understand that FIIs had previously long positions in futures, and when the market went up, so they had closed all the long positions and taken short positions. So we will confirm in the next data. So here we need to see that they have closed all the long positions and taken the short positions from Thursday and Friday. So we need to look for this. See, there was a around 14,400 crore shorts were taken in index futures. So this is signaling a strong negative bias, because whenever FIIs are taking shorts in futures, it is a really bearish sign. Earlier also it was similar like that. So but we need to watch out that whether they are continuously taking the short positions in coming Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, because they will once they start this trend, they will definitely keep on adding up the value. And also we need to look for that here also. Here you can see that from 7,500 crore gradually it went slowly, like it is clearly decreasing. You can see that from 2nd June we can see that it was gradually decreasing, and now they are increasing the selling. So that also signals a strong bearish sign, because FIIs are now withdrawing the money. So now we move on to the option chain here. Option chain, it's showing a mixed view here, but we need to carefully observe the option chain, because there was a strong 400 points up move on Friday, but we need to look for that. There was a strong call writing happened at 10,000, 10,100 and even at 10,200 level, but we cannot see any put writing happened at 9,800. 9,800 was very minimal, and even Nifty went above up to 10,000, near 9,995 level. The Nifty price was the Nifty went above up to that level, but even up to that level also the put writing didn't happen, because if that is a big up move, definitely the put writers will be active and they will start writing at 9,900, 9,800, even at 9,700 level. But there was a writing happen only at 9,500 level and 9,700. So the immediate support is at 9700 level, that is what visible here, and the next support is at 9500 and 9400. But here at the top we can see that even 10,000, from 10,200, 300, 10,100, even 10,000, so there was a strong call writing here. But because of the big up move, much writing can't happen, so we need to watch out for on Monday. But because of the poor put writing, we need to look out for a strong down move. So that is what visible here, because the put writers were not confident that this move will sustain. So that is what visible here. Even though there was a strong up move, it could not, the put writers were not much active here, so we need to watch out for in the coming days. So that also signaling that the up move is limited and the down move is what looking more. So this setup is also suggesting that. And next we will go to the other setup, that is the future data. Here you need to look for this future data. There was some short covering happened. See here the Nifty, there was shorts taken from 10,300 level, and from that we can see that there was a huge drop in the OA, and because of it the market went up. So that also confirms that because of short covering, market went up and it was not a buying happen, and the sellers were strongly aggressive. Now we move on to the intraday or final conclusion level. So here we can look for the intraday level. So as we have drawn before also, this red rectangle is acting as a strong resistance. Now it have moved to somewhat here. So this zone will be acting as a strong resistance zone, and now earlier drawn this red green zone is acting as a support, and that's what we had seen on Friday. That was acting as a support, and after that it tried to touch this zone. So now this trend line will be acting as a strong resistance that can be seen in the coming days. So the trading area will be somewhat, Monday will be somewhat here, and it will try to test the 9,800 level and 9,000. Going below this will test this level. So this level will be acting as a strong support. Breaking of this level will test this trend line. So once this level, that is 9,600 level breaks, then definitely it will go to 9,400 and then to 8,800 level. That is what drawn here. But this week we need to watch out for a strong volatility will be there, but the levels will be somewhat looking like the 9,900, that is near about 10,000 to 9,400. It's what the level which we can see in this coming week. So this zone will be a trading zone for this week. Breaking that 9,400 will reach to this level. That is purely based on the global selling, because globally if you can see, globally there was a big selling pressure happening. So that will lead to selling here. But one thing we need to watch out for is Nifty is the first globally, Indian market is the first to start selling. After that only Germany happened, and then Dow that is US market happened, and other even Japan also happened. So Nifty acting as a initiator of selling. So we need to be very cautious, because upside is very limited and the downside is more. So the range is looking big in this week, because last week we discussed that 10,300 to 10,000, and exactly it followed that in the last week. Even there was a fall there, but it tried to regain to this level again. But this week there will be a big area, so we need to keep watch out for this level. Accordingly trade can be initiated. So hope you like this video. Please click like button and subscribe to our channel, and comment if you have any questions or queries. I will definitely answer those. Similar kind of educational videos I will definitely continue to post. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.